Mr. P, what's going on?
Oh, all good, Manny. Here, another lockdown.
So,
So yeah, fun times.
understand you're having issues with your internet.
Yes, the usual Caribbean internet. It's not like first world, where everything is smooth all the time. But touch wood, all good. So we're all set.
Cool. If you do drop out at any point, um, yeah, I'm just gonna have to like maybe phone up a substitute. Maybe I
So
could
being
phone.
replaced or being replaced already. Usually they wait till season two before they start replacing main characters from most good flicks.
I'm just gonna recast you. It'll still be a Davie P, but it'll just look a bit
Yeah,
different.
yeah, slightly different.
I might, it might even be a female, just be a female Davy P. Who knows?
Yeah, well,
Anything
yeah,
could
the hair matching, so that's good.
exactly anything could happen on the Rayman podcast. But Davian, episode 4, Falcon, Winter Soldier. Should we just get into it?
Yes, let's do.
So the episode opens with a flashback to Bucky in Wakanda, and you see kind of Ao helping him get over his trauma of being the Winter Soldier, which I thought was really interesting because it showed that Ao actually had a huge part to play in him
Yeah,
getting better and him cleansing
his
himself.
rehabilitation. But,
Absolutely.
but I kind of wonder, is there more, but we just not touched on it yet? Because she kind of looked like she has a soft spot for him. So who knows if there's some kind of romance that went on? You never know.
I mean, I never picked up on that, but I mean, it's interesting if you did. I mean, you're more of a ladies' man than I am. So, I mean, you're the guy who'd probably.
I am not Manny P. Don't be sending that kind of message out there.
I mean,
Like I'm a Babylon whore or something. No, I am not. I just think about it. I mean, they are
Mhm.
considering the severity of the crime of what Zemo's done. They
Yep.
could have actually come straight and attacked rather than track him, because
Yeah.
obviously for them to be tracking him means they were tracking him from the get-go, so they knew everything from when he broke out of prison. So
Yep.
if they wanted to kill him straight away, they could have. But I think he's earned some level of respect and trust with them that they decide that, we'll let it play out.
Hey, elevators.
Elevator, welcome back.
I loved the Dora Milaje as well. I have to say.
Yeah, I just think that there may be some kind of something there that we don't know, because men like him, he's not going to want a simple regular gal. Them kind of powerful men, they need someone who's like even
Just as
Captain
powerful.
America. Yeah, look at Captain America. His woman, from back in the day, she was no walk in the park. She was sturdy.
I
that's,
mean,
if
that's
that's
one
the
way.
right
That's one
word.
way of putting it. But yeah,
Yes, she's a sturdy gal.
I think for me, I think it's more a case of kind of. I think she's probably very has a lot of affection towards him. Obviously, she helped him get better, and I think Bucky does mean a lot to the Wakandan people. I mean, they even gave
Yeah,
him his own nickname, White
yeah,
Wolf.
White Wolf.
So I think that leads on nicely as we saw, like, they go back to the conversation between Bucky and Ao in the present day, and Ao's pissed, man. Like, Ao wants to know why did you actually free Zemo, the man who killed King T'Chaka?
Yeah, I think she was probably more pissed for the fact that she probably wanted to put. Yeah,
I mean, yes, Peggy was badass, and I mean, and putting a guy in hospital with a stapler, that's impressive, man. I
that's
mean,
what I'm telling you. That's why I think there's something going on there with Bucky, because he's not going to be upstaged by Cap. Cap's got a woman that does that with a stapler, and he's just going to go get a regular Jane who works in a bar, literally that like can make cocktails. Nah,
making cocktails is still a skill, but I take your point.
yeah, stapler in hospital or make your mean mocha, ice cream sundae or whatever the hell kind of drinks they be making. No,
Yeah.
I think there may be something going on there, because remember, he spent a lot of time there.
Absolutely. Evening, Penny.
Hello, Penny. Welcome. We're just theorizing on the relationship between Bucky and the Wakandan beauty beast.
Don't use the term beast. That's insulting.
Well, yeah, okay, my bad. Beauty powerhouse.
That's better. That's better. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
powerhouse. My bad. Don't come down. Next thing that I see little Wakanda signs around my house here,
Hey, listen, when the
coming to
Dormer
lay
Large
hands
come
on.
after you for that comment, I mean, I'm just going to have to say you deserve it, and you deserve to get beaten up by Okoye and Ao and the rest of the Dormer Large. I mean,
Yep, and
you're gonna have to accept your beating.
wherever they go, they have authority. So basically, it means that the Jamaican government, Boris Johnson, no one will protect me.
Yeah, absolutely. Penny's suggesting as well there might be an interesting relationship going on there as well.
That's why, yeah, I mean, going back to what I was going to say, Manny P, I think maybe that's why she was so pissed off, because if she didn't have some kind of affection and respect for him and trust in him,
Yeah,
they would have just acted straight away or whatever, because he had no clue. None of them had any clue that they were being followed. And I think when when Bucky did find the signs, it's not because they got careless. I think she wanted him to find it so she could speak to
probably.
him one on one. Because think about it, they were tracking him for God knows how long. If they wanted to do whatever,
Absolutely.
yeah, true, exactly.
Like,
Them girls put hands on people. They are not to be messed with.
exactly. Like,
And
as Elevator said, like Sam said, you want to fight Bucky before you fight the Dormer Large, which is absolutely true. Absolutely true. But yeah, so after that scene, we're in the hotel room with Bucky, Falcon, and Baron Zemo, and they're having a nice philosophical chat. And I mean,
yeah,
Zemo
having
is saying,
Turkish delights, all
yeah, he's
sorts.
absolutely like Zemo's just handing out the Turkish delights. But he's making some interesting points, though, isn't he? I mean, the thing I'm loving about WandaVision and about Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that the lines between good and bad are getting really blurred now. Do you know what I mean? Because Zemo is making some good points about supremacy and basically saying the flag smashers are supremacists, superheroes are supremacists. Anybody who wants to literally become more powerful is actually tapping into some kind of want
Yes,
of
supremacy.
supremacy.
Yeah, literally. When you're going to dictate to someone how they should rule or what laws they should abide by, that is a form of supremacy where you're basically saying that you are the authority they should actually follow. And what happens if they don't follow, then what? There's going to be repercussions and consequences.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there were a lot of people speculating on the internet saying that like Zemo might actually be in charge of the flag smashers, which I would have found a bit cheap if that had been the case and
Yeah,
not
nah.
really in line with Zemo's ideals. But yeah,
No, because he hates super soldiers.
yeah.
So he would not have actually created the thing that he actually hates the most.
But I loved the fact as well that Zemo also addressed the fact that actually, like they say, what about Captain America? And Zemo acknowledges, yeah, Captain America is different to everyone else, obviously. But he is like a rarity. He's the anomaly when it comes to superpowers, essentially.
Yeah, basically, because he's basically saying that Captain America remained who he was
Exactly.
despite his powers. So it's kind of like what I kind of got from what he was trying to say is like basically the power doesn't really change you; it just brings out who you really are. In the sense
Exactly.
that I know you don't like me to call him that, but Captain Chin, he looks like he has a bit of a split personality where a kind of like God complex where he thinks, he's doing the right thing, but at the same time, like enough power, there's not enough power that will be
Exactly.
enough for him.
Is exactly. And I think we see that later on, the differences between our two Captain Americas, but we'll get onto that. Because yeah, that was a bit gruesome towards the end. But yeah, but definitely like you see the two opposing versions of what Captain America can be. And then then we go back to the Flag Smashers, and we see the Flag Smashers talking a bit more, and we see that they are like, because of the blip, they were displaced, and they're basically people from lots of different parts of the world without a country who've been
neglected by the government.
Yeah, who've been left behind, essentially. Who've been left behind. So then they go out and they're trying to work out, actually. Well, Falcon, Bucky, and Zemo are trying to find out. So they know Carly Montague. They know that a person close to her, and Majani, is having a funeral. They're trying to work out where this funeral is taking place so they can get to Carly. And you see Zemo being manipulative with his Turkish delights again, Davian.
Yeah. Those seem to be the trick. Literally, that gets you all the information that you need.
Absolutely. That's a really good point Elevator makes. Steve was a good man, but John was a perfect soldier. Well, until he gets his ass handed to him. In this episode, like what Dr. Erskine said in the first Avengers movie. Erskine says to him, it's more important you be a good man than you be the perfect soldier. And this is something, we'll get onto John Walker later, because I think we're going to have a good old talk about John Walker. But so, and you see like Zemo just like manipulating the children, and then he like tells the children, those men behind me are bad. Zemo is always, it feels, is one step ahead of everybody.
Yeah, he's kind of like a more sane version of like Joker. He's sadistic, but at the same time, there's an end to what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's got like a bigger goal. He's not doing anything randomly. And he's not really completely crazy. Whereas Joker is a genius, but at the same time, he's crazy. Like he'll do some spur of the moment thing as well. Whereas Zemo seems like everything he's doing is calculated. He's planning everything. Like he's assessing everything that's going on around him, looking at all the pieces. Yep. So for every character, he's looking at all the pieces and seeing what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. And then he's just analyzing what he'll be able to use that person to defeat that person if need be, for his benefit.
Yep, 100%. So Zemo, using his manipulative, conniving ways, finds out when the funeral or the memorial ceremony, at least, for Majani is going to take place. And then this is where it gets interesting. So they go back to the hotel, and then just another point from elevators. Were there no adults around when Zemo started creepily singing Bar Bar Black Sheep, or slowly approaching children with a creepy bag of candy? That's a very good point.
Yeah, and didn't any of them kids' parents tell them, don't be taking candy from strange men, especially strange men in gloves? Because dude had on a gloves, leather jacket. That's just textbook serial killer, kidnapper.
I mean, I guess like maybe after this blip, like all kind of like children's safeguarding rules have just all gone out the window, and they just all need to be relearned, possibly. But yeah, you're right. That was a bit creepy. Had I been the uncle or older brother of one of those kids, I probably would have punched Zemo in the face, saying that Zemo probably would have punched me back a lot harder.
He's a creepy guy, but he can fight.
Exactly. But yeah, so the Dora Milaje turn up, and they just demand Zemo. No, sorry, not John Walker and Battlestar turn up. Sorry.
Yeah. And Jerk 1 and Semi-Jerk 2.
I'm going to say I like Battlestar. You can tell. I think what you see here is a really good dichotomy between the relationship. Hello, person who just walked past you.
That's my bro.
Sorry, that's really thrown me off.
See, this is the wonder of live television, live media, isn't it? You never know who may pop by, literally.
So I think what you see is like the dichotomy between Battlestar and John Walker, and the relationship between Falcon and Winter Soldier. So what you see with Battlestar and professional Davie, professional.
Yes, I
What you
am.
see, what you see with Falcon and Winter Soldier is essentially one isn't subservient to the other. As I said
Yeah.
before, these are two brothers who, you know, they do have a lot of love and affection for each other, but they are brothers, and they do disagree, and one's not going to be subservient to the other. The same way your brothers probably just walk past you, not caring like that you're live streaming right now. And
Yeah.
whereas on the other side, you've got kind of John Walker and Battlestar, where I don't want to say Battlestar subservient is the wrong word, but he definitely appreciates that John Walker's kind of like a bit above him hierarchically. And he tries to act as his kind of conscience on his shoulders, keeps on telling John Walker, maybe just getting
Yeah,
pissed off
and it's
aggressive
this
all the time.
yeah, plus he's his confidant because I think he really trusts him.
Elevator says, like to skill the door from Malach, they threw a spear between the strap of the shield and John's arm into a table. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, that was real interesting because it shows in that moment that they didn't want to really hurt them. Because had they wanted, the fact that they had that kind of accuracy, if they'd wanted to throw it through his arm, they could have done that.
Yep. Absolutely. So
they just toyed with them, literally just punked them and just showed them like, listen, we're not really here for you guys. We're just here because we want to give him what he's supposed to get. Zemo's supposed to get this, but don't you start jumping up and thinking that, because you're wearing the stars and stripe, you're Captain America, you're a tough guy. There's a lot more people out here who hasn't got no super soldier serum in them that can put hands and spear on you.
Exactly. So that's a really cool point. So they go back to the hotel room, and the Dora Milaje turn up, and they're like to Bucky, "Look, we've given you your 8 hours, or whatever it was, and we want Zemo now." And then you just see John Walker again. John Walker, inside, he is actually trying to be what he sees as a good person, but again, he just comes off as obnoxious again.
But you know what? My view slightly changed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's obnoxious. You know what I honestly think it is? I think he's suffering from PTSD.
Okay. I like that.
Because remember what he kept saying, when he and Battlestar was talking, and he says, what if you could, take the serum, would you do it? And Battlestar's like, yes. And he's like, think about how many lives we could have saved, blah, 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 whatever. So I think even in that moment, I think maybe he was kind of hoping maybe Battlestar would say, no, I wouldn't, or whatever. So he could have some kind of doubt. But he saw that Battlestar is on the same level as him, with the same mindset. The only difference is Battlestar isn't mentally as traumatized and as damaged as he seems to be, or whatever. Because if you notice how he keeps touching his eyes, literally, it's like he keeps having visions and flashbacks of what he went through with 100%. All the hell, what he's talking about when he said about the medals that he got, he's like, basically, what we went through. He basically, it's kind of like those medals that should be badges of honor, he actually hates them because it actually reminds him of what it actually cost for him to actually get recognized as a hero. He lost all his comrades, all his brothers in arms or whatever, and sisters, if there was probably women there too. So I think he's still suffering from that because he's got this stigma as such a tough guy. So the last thing he would actually do is admit that, what, I need some actually some therapy lessons to go, some therapy sessions to actually deal with the grief that I'm actually trying to cope with inside. But because he's got this strong persona and they're looking at him like, what, you are the guy to actually take over the mantle as Captain America. It's like America, the hierarchies didn't actually care to actually look deeper to see that the dude's actually suffering. They just look at it like, well, he ticks all the boxes in terms of, agility, discipline, battle IQ and everything else, what is required to be a perfect soldier. And the fact that he's not whining about suffering the losses of his comrades, they think that that makes him the perfect soldier because he's able to carry out the mission regardless of whatever happens. But it looks like it's actually affecting him more than everyone else.
So my good friend Mr. Cato says John Walker was twitching in some parts of this episode. So PTSD is a good shout.
I'm a genius at times.
Well, I mean, I think everybody's kind of come to the same conclusion as you, David, anyway. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll give you that one. You can be a genius if you want to be.
I had my pay deducted before, so I'm trying to get that money back. Hopefully they will give me some bonus. But yeah, I think he's suffering from PTSD. So despite my first assumption of him, where I just thought he was just a jerk and he's just like this arrogant prick. Now I'm looking back at it now, I kind of almost feel sorry for him because I think he's dealing with a lot and there's a lot of pressure that's on him and he has to play the part as if he's coping with everything. So he's not actually saying that he's actually struggling.
So let's explore this a bit more. So Dora Milaje come in and he tries to shake their hands and they just look at him like, who the hell are you? And again, the Dora Milaje and Wakanda, they know Steve Rogers. Like they fought alongside him in Civil War. And I imagine they just must have the utmost respect for Steve Rogers. And they probably look at John Walker like, honestly, like, you're not our friend, Steve Rogers. So, how dare you?
And not just that. If you look at it, to how they are, even though they may seem like an army.
Yeah, Penny also says
that there you
bad
go.
Things out there as well.
Exactly, basically to survive. So God knows what they had to go through. But just like with many military things anyway, they only gloss over what's underneath of what they actually did to get to where they are. They're just like, mission accomplished. But they won't say the lengths, what they actually went through and the damages, what they've done, and some of the most atrocious things that they may have done. But going back to the Wakandans, what I was going to say is that it seems that because even though they may look like just army and they are powerful women, I think they still rank themselves as higher than the outside world. So therefore, they'll still look at you like, you're a peasant, so you really shouldn't really be talking to us a certain way. You shouldn't even address us. Because if you go back to
I think what Elevator says as well, though, I think is true as well, though. They understand how much that shield meant to Steve and probably Bucky, because that shield is in theory made out of a vibranium as well. It's actually made from the substance which their country owns, and they don't want that shield to just be carried by anybody if it's come from their natural resources.
Yeah, if it's not someone who they think will honor and respect their tradition and the tradition of the shield and the value of what the shield represents, then it's kind of like a slap in the face. But going back to what I was saying about them with the hierarchy of how they look at themselves compared to like anyone who isn't in their circle, it even goes back to how when they first met Black Widow. When we saw T'Challa, and literally like when Black Widow tried to approach him and they're like, move or you will be moved. Literally, like there was nothing else, like, and they were serious because they basically believe that there's a certain level. You can't just come and approach them and speak to them like that because you're not.
David's royalty.
They are powerful.
He's back. But okay. But I was just going to say as well. So I think backing up your point, like they tried to take Zemo, and Walker says you have no jurisdiction here, and AO just says the Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever they go. And I loved that line because it was just like, no, we're not going to, because I think that line has multiple meanings. It's not just AO being badass. No. But it's also saying to an American, actually, you don't rule the world.
Yeah,
actually, Wakanda is on an equal footing with the United States of America. So don't come in.
I don't even think. No, I kind of disagree with you there. I think they actually know they're more powerful than America.
Yeah, but would someone like John Walker though appreciate that? That's the point. John Walker doesn't appreciate that.
Well, many people, whether or not you appreciate something or not, if something is the reality of what the situation is,
but we're looking at this though through the lens of John Walker. We're not looking at it through our lenses. We've got to appreciate this scene through how John Walker's surveying it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, true. So in his mind, he thinks like, yes, we know we're comrades, we're buddies, we're on the same level.
Because remember again,
I think maybe that's why they disciplined him, just to show him that we're not on the same level.
Remember again, he says to the Dora Milaje, "I'm Captain America," and again, it's like you're Captain America in title. You haven't actually done anything so far, like through your actions, deserving of the title Captain America. So you really need to be quiet until you've done something deserving of that name.
100%. It's kind of like what you said to me, isn't it? That, because of my technical issues with the internet, you may recast Davie P. And, if someone else come and said, I'm Davie P. Well, yeah, technically you've got the name, but you're not, you haven't earned, you haven't got the battles, the victories like the real Davie P. So, you can't take over.
All the L's. The L's are important as well, because L's help you grow. You can't become a rounded human being, an individual, without a few losses. So yeah.
It was an absolute amazing episode. Sorry I'm digressing a bit, but I just think they just keep getting better and better each week. Like every episode is just like a hit after hit after hit.
Yeah, but we'll get to, I feel we'll review it on the whole, as a whole at the end. But yeah, then they get into a big fight, and the Dora Milaje just totally own John Walker and Battlestar. But also loved the scene between AO and Bucky, where Bucky's giving it all, and AO's just like, listen, I know the special code to basically disconnect your vibrating arm from the rest of your body.
Literally, yeah.
That was amazing.
But even when he was fighting, he wasn't really fighting.
He doesn't want to hurt the Dora Milaje.
He can't. It's not like he doesn't really want to. They will put hands on him.
I reckon it'll be an even fight between him and the Dora Milaje. Remember, he's got
him and one. Yeah, him and one of them.
He's
1-on-1. He may be.
Sorry, that's a genius joke there. She disarmed.
Yeah, literally.
Sorry, that's tickled me. But I think Bucky could take on members of the Dora Milaje. He's got super soldier serum, and he's got 50 years worth of fighting experience as well, having been the Winter Soldier. So
yeah, but they've got centuries of fighting. They come from. They're not. I think
they're not hundreds. They're not hundreds of years old, Davie.
How old is Wakanda?
Wakanda's like thousands of years old, probably. But
yeah, but that's what I mean. I mean, in the sense, not the actual person like AO. I mean, the fact that they're born into that. Literally, they're born warriors from birth till they grow up. Literally, that was their purpose.
Yeah, but they still, in terms of actual real life experience, they've only got like 20 years probably worth of fighting experience.
Yeah, 20 years, regular years to us, but to them in fighting experience, these are all like serious badasses. Like, they can literally take on any army. Yeah,
but I still think Bucky will take out most members of Dora Milaje. Bucky.
I would not suggest that you go and hype Bucky up and let him go drink that Kool-Aid like Captain Chin and go say, you know what, I can take them on. Let me go over there and show them who I am. Then he goes over there, get disarmed, get his butt handed to him, and then what?
They only done it because they need the password to get his arm off him.
But Manny P, that won't help him when he get his ass whooped. Then he has to come back to you and say, Manny P, thanks for hyping up. I went over there, thought I was the big tough guy. They gave it to me, and now I'm on World Star Wakanda.
Well, this is the man who's got like hundreds of murders and M's on his
So you're basically saying, well, yeah, he deserved that whooping if he gets it. Like, yeah.
I'm saying that he could more than look after himself against the Dora Milaje.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm saying he can, but I'm just saying he would.
He's saying I like the very Black Panther.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It's different.
I like that. It's those little touches that the MCU does, just like always thinking about, well, how would it, if the arm was built in Wakanda, how would that arm look? And just those little things they think about it.
But again, it takes it takes real, attention to detail to just notice just little nuances like those for you to say, oh, wow. Because you just thought, oh, it's just a different design. But yeah, it does make sense that because that particular one was actually designed in Wakanda, why it would actually look that way, which means that it's more powerful than the one that he had before. He probably can do a lot more with it that we're not even seeing as yet. Yeah, absolutely.
Like there might be stuff like maybe they're like withholding from him about the levels.
Yeah, he might even be able to do like what Black Panther was able to do, where you could actually charge it up with, the kinetic energy. And then literally do like a punch, shockwave, something like. I'm throwing that one out there. So if next episode or a couple of episodes from now, you see him do a punch, shockwave, literally from that. I said it first.
But what happens next is, I think, is probably the most important part of the episode, because it sets up what happens throughout the, like, John Walker's motivations throughout the rest of the episode. One, the Dawn Milaje just totally own John Walker. John Walker doesn't have a look in this fight, and it's not even Ao who beats him up. It's one of, like, the little, like, the other Dawn Milaje who aren't even, like, that high up on the rankings, like in the hierarchy,
Well,
who, like, takes him out.
We're not really sure that it's just a regular one, because think about it.
But we still, we know Okore's number one. We know Ao's number two. So
yeah, but we don't know any, like, in terms of how big the armies are, how many generals on that level. Reason why I'm saying that. The reason why I'm saying that is because
you don't know who they are suggests that it's a bit of a nobody.
Well, might not be. There could be some serious badass.
Okay, what's the name of that Dawn Milaje soldier then who took out John Walker?
Chin Slayer.
Exactly. Well,
that's what I call her.
You just made up a name. So
it's written there somewhere. Yeah, they just haven't announced it yet. But no, the reason why I'm saying that, Manny P, is for them to leave from Wakanda and come to basically like the free world, America, literally, they wouldn't just send one badass and then 3 average fighters. I think they just send a few badasses out there who can all individually and collectively, like,
absolutely
serious ass, don't care how bad, because think about it, they probably kill him, and depends who gets in their way, it could start a big war with them right there, right now. Now it's going to take time for the rest of, Wakandan reinforcement to come out. So in order to actually hold their own, they're like Avengers.
Cool.
In the sense that they're badasses where they can actually take on no matter how many people was there. I think probably 2 of them could have taken out all 4 of them in that room.
But the point is that I think all the Dawn Milaje are like badass fighters. They can all look after themselves to a different level. Their threshold, their bar of what it is to be a great fighter is probably higher than any other threshold or bar across the entire world to join that elite unit of fighters.
And what's her name is one of the top elite fighters as well too, that T'Challa's slight ex.
Yeah, I think they're back. Well, they got back together at the end of Black Panther, didn't they? But obviously, T'Challa's not going to be with us in the next movie, so we have to see how that goes. But yeah, so
we don't know yet, do we? Because you've seen lately now they keep hashtagging recast.
Yeah, but that's just fans being stupid fans, basically. Marvel have said they're not going to recast Chadwick Boseman because it will just be so they know it will be disrespectful to Chadwick and to the movie. Just because fans want to get online and do a petition, like sometimes fans deserve a voice, but sometimes fans just need to understand actually the people writing this stuff are writing it, and you're not writing it for like the people writing those movies are there because they're qualified to do it and they know exactly how to write those movies.
Yeah, it's a tough one because it's the same. Like, do you remember Spartacus, the series?
Well, that was
Spartacus, but that was Blood and Sand. No, but I'm just saying when they did recast him, fans didn't really take to him like they would have, because it still had that undertone like, well, you're okay, but you're not Andy, Whitfield. Yeah. So it's like, even whoever they bring in now, don't care how good he may be as a T'Challa, it will still have the comparison of, you're not Chadwick Boseman, you're not the real, you're not the real Black Panther. So it will, it's probably best, like you said, they just leave it.
Yeah, they are going to leave.
Find a way to write him out of it, and then just, just leave it there. Don't do it.
I saw that petition online, and it was just fans being fans, unfortunately, in this very toxic world of fandom we currently live in. But yeah, so John Walker gets his ass handed to him by not even Ao, one of the other Dawn Milaje. And I think it's an incredibly important point, as Penny says here. Like he says to Battlestar, they're not even super soldiers, and they'd beaten him. And this is the point which makes John Walker realize, God, he's actually
less than average.
Yeah, he rarely, in a purely physical sense, hasn't got what it takes to be Captain America. Again, what John Walker's still not realizing is that he hasn't got the heart to be Captain America.
I don't even think it's just that, man. If look at it,
he hasn't realized that yet.
Yeah, but if you also look at it, it in a way kind of goes to highlight the ignorance and arrogance of, America, in
Yeah.
the sense that they thought, oh yes, you know what, we can, you're Captain America, you can do this, do that. Now, keep in mind, you've got all kinds of super beings out there that you know of. Forget what you don't know of, that you have already seen, and they've not all been destroyed. And you're going to get a regular soldier who happened to do maybe two or three, you know, um, tour of duties and got two medals. And all of a sudden, you're going to give him the title of, on the mantle of Captain America, where he's just a regular guy with regular bone, flesh and bones, against all kinds of powerful beings out there now. So what if, you know, say for instance, Thanos' army decide to come and get revenge? You're going to let that poor guy get his ass handed to him because he's now Captain America and they can't get the real Captain America. What the hell is he going to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But I think what we see here is this is the first part where you see John Walker and he's kind of thinking, I'm not good enough. And his entire life, he's always been told he's good enough. He's always won. Even in Afghanistan, where they had so many of his comrades die, he still got a medal. So even to a certain degree, almost his failure was awarded in that incident. So literally, this is the first
participation award.
Yeah, so literally, this is the first time he's really had to sit down and think to himself, man, maybe I'm not good enough. And for someone like that, who's always been told they're great, who's always won, that's difficult. That's difficult. As I said, the L's are important in your life because the L's make you humble and they make you appreciate how much hard work.
Yeah, but does it really make him humble? Also, look
That's
at it
what I mean,
another
though.
way.
He hasn't. This is what I mean. He hasn't experienced any L's, so he isn't humble.
He did, because remember they did get beat up in the first one too.
Yeah,
when they were on top of the train.
That was his first L, and now this is his second
That was an L, and that was
so now the L's. So now the L's are just building up for him.
But I also think maybe it wasn't the sense that he realized, you know what, just how weak I think in a way, it probably also gave him validation. I think it also gave him validation for him to actually take the serum.
Exactly.
Because in his mind, he's saying to himself, well, you know what? I need this because I'm doing this for the greater good, because there's so many people out there. Rather than just admit, you know what, I want to take it because I'm weak, he's going to look at it to say, well, no, I'm doing it for the greater good because I can save this life, I can save that life. Rather than admit that it's because you got your ass handed to you week after week by even these random super soldiers who are not even like super powered being, villains that we know of. They were just random foot soldiers who just happened to have that serum in them. You got your ass handed to you by them, and then also by the Dora Milaje.
I mean, regardless of how John Walker frames it in his own mind, I think the real reason is that his ego's been really badly hurt with these incidents. Because when Carly beat him, at least when the Flag Smashers beat John Walker had the excuse of they had super soldier serum, so that's why they beat me. But when the Dora Milaje beat him, they're just very skilled fighters, and he still couldn't beat them. And I think that was like the next knockout blow for him. It was just these L's are getting worse and worse for him because they're just bit by bit, they're ripping away at his ego. And I think that's why this is such an important part, because this is what leads to him taking the super soldier serum later on in the episode. But yeah, we'll move on from there. So they phone up Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter's in some kind of weird place with like lots of like ne'er-do-wells kind of like hanging out, and they get her help to pinpoint where stuff's going down. But yeah, what do you think's up with Sharon Carter, man?
I wonder if she's the big boss. I wonder if she's the big boss woman.
You think she's the power broker?
Yes. You know what I think it is? I think she's probably been through a whole lot more than she's let on. As in, she's had a lot more hell to endure than she's actually let on. And I think she's very resentful and very bitter against the Avengers, against, SHIELD, against the US government in general. The fact that she's done nothing but what she thought was the right thing for a country and for the world. And how was she rewarded? With exile. She's literally on the run, can't see her family. So I think she basically look at it like, well, the only way you're going to probably get respect is for you to actually take your respect, and the only way you do that is with power. So I think she's smart enough because she showed she was smart enough. I mean, come on, her auntie is Mrs. Captain America. So I think she's smart enough where she knows how to play the game, and she's just playing all the parts. Like she's really helping and she's really doing this and doing that. But I think really and truly she's playing everyone. And I think maybe the only person who probably may suspect something but hasn't led on is Zemo.
Probably. I think Zemo, if anybody's worked it out, the entire game plan from here, it's going to be Zemo, 100%. But yeah, interestingly, I was watching another podcast about said episode, and they said that Sharon Carter was actually dusted during the first blip. So yeah, so she hasn't had 5 years like on the run.
But was she dusted?
Apparently, in the Endgame movie, she is on the list of dusted heroes.
No, we'll have to look to see because that would be interesting.
It's a very brief like thing in the background of the Avengers headquarters, but yeah, so she's built up this little like empire for herself very quickly after she's come back. So like, there's rumors as well that Sharon Carter might be a Skrull, which I'll feel a bit disappointed if that is true. That's also done the rounds. But yeah,
I don't think that. I don't think
neither do I.
I think she's the big boss.
Yeah, I mean, I think, or at least she's working for the big boss at the very least.
Yeah.
I reckon she's working. I reckon she's working in cahoots with the power broker, on some degree. Because again, she's only been back for a couple of months, so how could she accumulate that level of power?
Yeah, if she was really dusted, I mean, we don't know.
She might have faked herself being dusted as well. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and then just been doing whatever.
But yeah, so that all happens. So we'll skip a few bits, and then they actually get to the funeral, and Falcon he offers therapy to soldiers who have suffered trauma. So Falcon says, "Look, I'm the best person to go and talk to Carly." Falcon can still see hope for Carly. He can still see redemption for Carly.
Yeah, and but Falcon is blind. Falcon is completely blind, because if that's his speciality, what he's actually trained in, then how the hell me, who's untrained, and Penny, who's not trained in that also, and Dowdy could all see straight away that Captain Chin is suffering from PTSD. He did not see that from the first moment he met him, and he couldn't see all the signs around him. But he can see that in the girl, but he can't see that in Captain Chin, that he actually needs help.
Maybe like Hugh, all we can see is the chin and he can't see anything else.
Yeah, or maybe because he's so resentful towards him for the shield and everything else, he doesn't want to see.
I think he doesn't want to. I don't think he wants anything to do with him as much as he can do.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's not really looking at it objectively, but he's more sympathetic towards, the flag smashers.
And at this point in time, Carly is the mission. John Walker isn't the mission at this point. So you've got to divert all your resources towards the mission goal. So yeah,
well, see, that's what makes him different. That's what I'm saying. That's why someone like Zemo will always have the upper hand on them, because even though Zemo's got one mission that he's working on with them, he's clearly assessing and analyzing everything that's going on around it. So he's multitasking in the sense that he's preparing for everything.
Absolutely.
Whereas Sam is just focused on
stuck off during the fight as well.
Yeah. Whereas Sam is just focused just on one thing.
And then there is, why give him that helmet to make him look like Dumbo with a super chin? God, we got to stop this. Like, God. Could everybody please stop abusing John Walker for his physical appearance? Let's just abuse him for his character. I'm
I
sure
like
Wyatt,
it. You know what?
I'm
I
sure
feel
Wyatt
for
Russell's
him.
a very nice man, and doesn't deserve these comments about his physical appearance.
No, I'm sure he's it's just how they I think they done that on
You
purpose.
think they've accentuated his features?
Yeah, just to make him just look, because you got the
More
perfect
unlikable.
chin, the strong chiseled chin, a manly soldier, real man's chin. That's what they're trying to make him out like he's a real man. And my views on him slightly changed, which is crazy. I never thought I'd actually say that, but yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I'll
so
I'll say
but,
why.
but anyway, so Falcon comes in and he's actually getting through to Carly. He says to Carly that you know by what you're doing, you're becoming as bad as the people you're fighting against. You're becoming an extremist yourself. In fact, you're doing extreme things now, and you're just perpetuating this continual cycle of hurt by going about things the way you're doing them. And he's about to get through to her, and then Walker walks in and just ruins it all. Basically, the way Walker does.
Well, no, I don't blame Walker for that. I blame Sam for that. Falcon, that is completely Falcon's fault. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to build trust with the person and he's in that situation, he should have been honest and said, I'm not here alone. I'm with them, but I've told them to wait outside. I'm going to speak to you. So that way she would have known that he's not in on it. So for him to be inside there, literally trying to get through to her, after already lying to her saying that he's alone, and then they bust in, then it will look like he's trying to set her up or whatever. He had no reason to lie.
I don't think he was lying. I think when he said he was alone, I don't think he was expecting John Walker to walk in.
No, but John Walker was already there before he went inside.
Yeah, but I think when he said alone, I think he meant like, I'm alone now. I don't think he
Yeah, but Manipi, he can't trust John Walker. He's already said that they don't trust him.
He was naive. That's him showing naivety.
Well, no. Why would he lie? Why lie?
He wasn't lying. You just said yourself he wasn't lying. He was being naive.
No, I never said he was being naive. You're saying that. I'm saying he lied to her by saying that he's alone.
What you described, he was being naive.
Yeah, but he lied. Why lie?
He wasn't lying.
Manipi, if I turn up at your house with 6 people outside, but I come in through the gate and you're saying, oh, are you here alone? And I'm like, yes, I'm alone. And then literally whilst we're there talking, the next 5 people run through the gate and come in. And you look at me like, I thought you said you was alone. And I'm like, well, I said I was alone inside the yard. You weren't being technical, but I wasn't alone. So you're saying that she should have said, are you alone?
So you're right in both circumstances, basically. You're right. He's you would be right if you said you are alone, because right at this moment you are alone.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the fact that she's basically in a corner. She don't really trust anyone, and he's trying to get through to her. The last thing you want to do is start it off on a bad foot by basically telling a gray lie, half truth, when there's no need to. You simply just said, I'm alone here with you, but Bucky and new Captain America and Battlestar is outside, but I've told them to stay out there because I'm not here for anything. See, I'm unharmed. I'm here trying to talk to you. So that way she's aware. So if she decides to stay and talk, then it's one thing. But what he's done, he literally broke the trust that she was trying to put in him just to start off. Because as soon as he's kind of like getting a little rapport with her, boom, here comes Battlestar and Captain America and Bucky. And then she just basically feel like, what the hell? Why this? Why did you do this? So he caused that.
I agree with you that he should have had the foresight to say, look, they are outside, and if one of them walk in, yeah, sorry. But hindsight's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I know what you're trying to say, Manipi, but my issue is, it's not as if it's a situation where he knows Battlestar and new Captain America, where they're on the same team.
Yeah, just a comment here from Elevators. I think the Flag Smashers have the right idea, but are doing it wrong. Like, they want to give people shelter and food and medicine and give children an education. Absolutely correct. What we're seeing in the Marvel Universe right now is this nuanced, this nuanced world where what is good and what is bad is really hard to decipher at the moment. Like as we discussed earlier, some of the points Zemo was making were really fair points. Like John Walker's walking around like he's the good guy, but he's really not. It's this really wonderful, nuanced world.
Yeah, I don't think John Walker is even really a bad guy. I think he's just sheltered in the sense that because he's always had opportunities for him, it's kind of like he's privileged because he's always had opportunities. So he's not been in that situation where he doesn't know where his next meal is going to come from, or that he needs something and he hasn't got access to it. Everything he's ever wanted, he gets it handed to him. Whereas these people are from a different world where they try to do it the right way, like him. They ask for things and they just never get it. So I think it will be a very hard thing for him to comprehend because he's used to asking for stuff and he gets what he wants, whereas they're used to asking for the same things what he would probably ask for, but they don't get the same response. And it won't be easy for someone like him to understand that unless he actually experiences that himself. Then it's kind of like with anything where you see with like discrimination, where someone won't actually really understand what it is until they've actually experienced it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then they'll be like, oh, wow, that really can happen, because they think it's strange.
Yeah, absolutely. What Elevator says as well is when Zemo was on the plane in episode 2 talking about Cap and Red Skull, he was completely right in that conversation. Sorry, episode 3, he meant. But yeah, he was right talking about extremism and about how, people are hurt through extremism and through acts of supremacy. Zemo's making a lot of pertinent points as we go on through this series. And as you said,
I think it's all mind games, though. I think Zemo's doing it so that way when he comes and he does certain things, it will make you question whether or not is he right or is he wrong for doing that? Is he really a bad guy? Because he's pointed out so many flaws in your perfect system of where you think those who are doing right, in theory, not doing it.
Okay, this is for me the big thing. So I actually got a bit mixed up. Is after this scene, the Dora Milaje come in and beat up John Walker after
the first fight.
After this scene. But what Bucky says to Ao is, Zemo is a means to an end. And we're seeing this now repeated throughout the entire series, where lots of these different factions and individuals keep on justifying their actions by saying, well, I'm working towards a greater good.
I've got a great point on that with Sam.
I'm working towards a greater good. And they're all saying this to try and justify what they're doing. But they're leaving behind a lot of hurt.
Remember I said that last week when it came to Sam and, oh my God, what's her name?
Sarah?
Cap's niece.
Sharon.
Remember I said to you how he's saying to her, despite him possibly having the ability to actually get her cleared, where she could actually return home, he's basically saying, yeah, can you do this? And I said to you, he's going to say one thing and then he's going to ask for something else. And it's still the same result, literally. It's still saying, do this, and also do this, but I still, in order for me to clear you. Yeah. So he asked her, because remember, he actually called her and asked her to find out. Literally, he started doing the exact same thing. He asked for one thing. Remember, it was one favor he wanted. And if she did that one favor, he would get her cleared. She could return home. She did what she was supposed to do. He's now called her again now this week and said, yeah, I know this is a bit much, but is there any way you could find out this and that or whatever? So he's asking for more. And again, it's like we said, it's a means to an end where they'll try and justify their actions by saying, well, because we're trying to do this or we're trying to do that, then it makes it acceptable because it's for the greater good. Well, no, that doesn't make you any different to the same people who you call terrorists and who you call, extremists, because you're doing the same thing. The only difference is through your eyes, you're doing a just cause. Just like through their eyes, they're doing a just cause as well. So you're no different to them. Yeah, exactly. I think what we're seeing is here, a lot of people are going to have to question like how they went about doing things and all of this. And, the only person who would have done things differently is probably Steve Rogers, who would have tried to have kept everything on the straight and narrow. But everyone's just off doing their own thing. Bucky thinks it's perfectly fine to free Zemo. Carly Montague thinks it's perfectly fine to blow up buildings.
You know,
Yeah,
Zemo
yeah,
thinks it's perfectly fine to do whatever he's doing, like blowing
yeah,
up
but
into chakras and stuff like that.
yeah,
You
but
know,
I think
all these people were just
I think Bucky has a point in the sense that Captain America sees things a certain way, but it's a lot easier, I think, to see things. I don't think Captain America would even be able to fix things now in this time. Reason being is it's easy for you to fix a situation when you're working with the full picture, when you know exactly what all the parts are. If you've got a puzzle and you've got every single part in front of you, it's easy for you to then, even if it may take time for you to put that puzzle together. When you're working with a puzzle and pieces are missing and you don't know what's what, you don't have a full picture of what's actually going on. So it's the same thing, just like with the flag smashers. Like, the government is saying they're extreme and they're bad and they're this or that, but you're not getting the full picture as to what drove these people to this length. What did the government do or what did the government not do? And those in charge who had the ability to fix certain things, what did they not do that caused these people to turn and go to such extreme lengths? Think about it. They didn't really have a home anyway. And the one place that they probably had where they were all like a family, they're now having to give that up, going on the run because it's for a greater good. Now, for you to leave something when you didn't really have a place to begin with, and now you finally have somewhere as a place, and you're now giving that up to go on the run because you feel that strongly about what you're actually doing, it must be something severe that caused you to do that. You must have gone through some severe traumas and pain and neglect where you're not feeling that you're making any kind of progress and getting anywhere, that you just said, you know what, I'm going to give up what little I have and I'm just going to throw my life away, because literally that's what they're doing. I think in the back of their head, they all know that they'll probably die at some point. They're all going to die, but they just feel that strongly about their cause that they're actually going to go ahead and do it.
yeah. And again, it's all means to an end. Like they feel that strongly about it, but when you're dead, great, no one's won. But yeah, so we move on. Then we have a situation where basically they have their big fight. Zemo's now escaped from the hotel room and whatnot. And then Carly phones up Sarah Wilson and threatens Sarah and Sarah's two kids and tells Sarah to pass on a message to Sam to meet her. Now,
but did she really threaten her?
we don't know. I personally don't think she would have carried through with it.
Exactly, because I think just like
Again, we're just talking about a means to an end. Over and over again, all these actions are taking place with these characters because it's a means to an end. But it's just
not
causing
just
hurt.
that.
It's just
Yeah,
causing
but
hurt for all these characters and who they're interacting with.
yeah, but not just that. I think about it. The fact that she was able to tell her where she was and what she's doing means that if she really wanted to do something to her, she would do it. I think she's just letting her know that, listen, if I was really about that, we could have actually done what we wanted to you or whatever. I think she still like Sam has hope in her. I think she still kind of feels deep down that he wasn't involved in that setup, because if she probably felt that way, she would have killed his sister if she really wanted to. So I think she just want to give him a second chance to not lie, to basically do what I say this time, which is if he's meeting her, because if you notice, I don't know if I'm going ahead too quickly, but when he met her again, he admitted that he was with Bucky this time, correct?
Yeah, so he kind of rectified the
Which
mistake
is exactly what I said he should have done to begin with. He could have said that, yes, I'm here with Bucky and Walker and Battlestar, but they're outside. I'm trying to talk to you, X, Y, Z. But this time he actually come forward and said it. Why? Because he knew he should have done that to begin with.
Yeah, so they're having a chat again. I think it's because Sam did get through to Carly, and I think Carly saw something in Sam which would help her. I think Carly doesn't want to go too far down that route to the point where she ends up beyond redemption. Carly does not want that for herself.
No.
And she's on that route quite heavily already. Because they say like they blew up that building and it did kill like a father of two and stuff like that, and that's gonna weigh on her mind. But anyway, it all kicks off again, and we have this huge fight where Battlestar gets tied up and whatnot. But anyway, let's just move on to the crucial points.
Oh boy!
So it's all kicking off. John Walker turns up, and John Walker's from the previous scene has managed to get hold of some of that super soldier serum and taken it.
Yeah.
Yep. And so he's all kicking off, and he's trying to free Battlestar because they've captured him, and then John Walker's shown off the fact that he's got super soldier serum and he's crushing bars and stuff, and then Carly just runs.
I don't think he was showing off, Manny P. Honestly, I think he was desperate. It's weird, but I think like Battlestar is like the last bit of his conscience.
Yeah, I mean, I was just freestyling when I said he was showing off.
I know what you mean, but I'm just saying, I think he was just desperate because he didn't want to lose. I think maybe that was
Penny's point on Sam Wilson and Carly. They are both fighting a similar fight. They're both trying to find a home for themselves in this new world.
But going back to Walker, I think he was just desperate just to free him because that's like his last bit of humanity.
Yeah,
his conscience. That whole question. The perfect soldier is not really the perfect soldier because I think if you notice any decision that he was making, which was a good thing about him, even though he was the leader, he didn't just do anything off the cuff. He would always discuss it with Battlestar to say, this is our next plan or whatever. So I think that was like the last person who had a real connection with him where he was close to, where he could actually confide in and be himself.
It's his best friend from childhood. Again, it's kind of like his brother again. But yeah, so you see it all kicking off, then Carly just comes in with this Superman punch from out of nowhere, basically. See the way I melded two WWE moves there?
Yeah,
Superman punch from
MMA. Because funnily enough, that punch that you said, that Superman punch, I know I'm slightly digressing, but remember I said to you in the first episode, it had the UFC fighter, George St. Pierre. He's the one who actually invented that Superman punch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
He was the one that WWE literally was having a little issue with because the Superman punch was invented by him in UFC.
I see.
Off the cage when he jumps and flies punch, and they refer to it as a Superman punch. So it's so fitting that it actually came when they did that said punch in that episode.
Yeah, and you just see Walker flying into this pillar, and I thought initially he was going to survive it. Then you just see the neck.
Walker. No, not Walker.
Sorry.
Walker was going to get. Remember, Walker was going to get the punch, and obviously at that time, which I think is I think that's probably the only mistake. This is just what I theorize right now as we're actually speaking. I think Walker never told Battlestar that he took the serum.
No, I don't think he did either.
If he did, then Battlestar wouldn't have jumped in front of him because he knew he would have been able to handle that punch because his body's now super soldier. So he would have been able, but he literally thought it was his friend, just like him, about to get killed by a super soldier. And like you said, because they're childhood best friend, it was just natural that he would actually just jump in front because he cares for his friend. And his friend would do it for him. He jumped in front of his friend to take that punch for his friend. And that was just so messed up, yo.
Yeah.
That shocked me.
The way you just see his neck just click when he hits that pillar. It's just like, oh God, he's actually dead. I didn't think they'd kill off Battlestar like that, but
yeah, I didn't think he would die because I saw all like the comic, like the things I sent you on WhatsApp, and you see it had like Battlestar. So I was like, oh snap, dude's gonna get super soldier as well too, and you've got all these different super soldier, patriotic American heroes, So I thought, this is gonna be fine, but wow, that was like a twister that you didn't see coming.
So yeah, you see John Walker, obviously he's heartbroken at the death of his best friend from childhood. Yeah, and I think as well, there's a narrative there as well that even with John Walker having super soldier serum now, he still couldn't save his best friend from dying. I wonder if that's going to play on his mind as well in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think he's going to probably feel guilty too, because I think if he had said it to his best friend, oh, I took it, considering that his best friend was all for it, so he had no reason to not.
I think he was tied up at this point, wasn't he? So I don't think he had the chance to.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, he had. Remember, when he was speaking to his best friend in that previous scene before all of that happened, when they were signing autographs and all of that, and he was talking about, would you do it or whatever?
Yeah.
And his best friend was like, yes, hell yeah, I would do it. He had, at that point, he had already had the serum on him. He had already got it that he took from when, Zemo was crashing them, when he knocked out Zemo. So he could have said it to him then, you know what? I've got one. I'm going to take it. Then when we get another one, you could get. He could have said it from then, but he didn't say anything. So I think he has some guilt that he has to carry for the fact that he kept that a secret from his best friend. Maybe it was because he probably thought to himself, I don't want my best friend, because even though it's his childhood best friend, I think he still wants to have a little image of, I'm a tough guy, and I think he maybe felt like if he was to say to his best friend, I took it, he may feel like, oh, he's weak. That's why he took it, because he got defeated, when he shouldn't feel that way, because, you're not playing on a level battlefield. So if that also kind of gets you a little bit closer to being on even playing field with all the unknown entities and enemies out there, then why not? So I think that's the only mistake I think he made. He should have said it to his best friend, and he didn't. And then his best friend thought he was going to die, so his best friend gave his life for him. And I think that's just what just made him snap. So
he obviously snaps, and as it says as well, the super soldier serum, it kind of like accentuates your characteristics. So again, it's kind of accentuated a lot of the negative points of John Walker, and he runs outside and he catches that flag smasher. Interestingly, that's flag smasher when they were at the gravesite and Carly's getting those vials of super soldier serum. He says that his favorite superhero growing up was Captain America. So suddenly, John Walker's grabbed him, pushed him to the floor, gets his shield, and then just starts raining on him. So literally, this poor guy, this poor flag smasher, has been murdered.
I don't feel sorry for those. Don't be no poor guy. He's not no poor guy. He killed the dude.
This flag smasher. By literally, he's been killed by his favorite superhero, Captain America.
You get what you get. In that instance,
hold up. Last episode, you were talking about how much you loved the flag smashers, and they got a point. And now you're coming out with, I don't like them anymore.
No, I'm not saying I don't like them. I like them, but I'm just saying, if you give it out, dish it out, you should be able to take it. The fact is, they killed Battlestar. That was his friend. I knew right in that moment, once he died, and once you saw, Walker started chasing them, I knew it was going to go dark, because if you notice when, the music that was playing in the background, there was no sound. The only sound you heard from the character was when he actually jumped through the window, just the smashing of that window. That was the only sound until he caught up to Flag Smasher, Sacrificial Lamb, and he gave him what he gave him. And I actually applauded Walker for doing that, because that's your best friend. Come on, what do you think? Let's be real.
Hold up. You killed a person who didn't kill your best friend, and you applaud that.
Well, because that's one of them. He is part of it. Think about it like this. It's kind of like...
So again, we're getting to this argument again about a means to an end, where you just carry on this cycle of violence, and nobody's going to end up winning.
No, I have to do that Drake finger right there. No.
Wait, don't you Drake finger me.
Yeah, sure, that sounds so wrong. No, what I'm saying is, in America, by American law, probably the same in the UK too, I'm not quite sure, you may be able to enlighten me on that. If I go to rob a bank or a liquor store or whatever, and I'm the driver, but you're the one who goes in and you shoot whoever is there, even though I didn't pull the trigger, and if we all get caught, I'm going to get the same amount of time as you. I'm being charged for murder as well too.
Okay, it's called joint enterprise.
Yes, so therefore, it's the same situation like that. He may have not been the one who actually done the Superman punch to kill Battlestar, but he was part of it. If he wasn't, it's not like he couldn't catch up to them. Thank you, Penny.
I think Penny.
It's not like he couldn't catch up to them and he just killed
him. I think Penny wants to Drake finger you as well.
Jesus God. Manny P, we're not trying to get cancelled out here, yeah?
What? I didn't say anything. I'm just being that. That's all I mean.
Yeah. Only one Drake finger around here, and that's me.
I don't know where your mind is going.
No, my mind.
Oh, that's disgusting, Davie. If you're thinking about what I'm thinking about.
No, I'm just thinking about poor Captain America 2.0. I'm not his biggest fan, but in that moment, I appreciate the fact that he avenged his best friend. He would not have been a good friend if he didn't avenge him. And it doesn't matter if he didn't catch that person, the actual person who actually did the blow. The fact that you're part of the gang and you was one of them that was involved in that incident, and I catch up to you, then you get what you get. Simple as that.
Oh God, the comments could go in so many directions. You're right. You're right. Remember, I'm the group. Okay. Pervert.
Right. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah. So yes, Penny, those comments, you stick to them.
So yeah. So I think for me, what we got to remember is that John Walker's got that uniform on. Revenge like that is not part of what being Captain America is about.
So hang on, the Avengers have on that uniform. So wait, do you think that Captain America weren't killing some of Thanos' people? Do you think he was just knocking them out when they were fighting?
That's entirely different. You can't compare the two situations. That's in a war. That's on a battlefield situation.
This is a war as well. This is a battlefield. This person
was running away, and you had them in custody. And you had them in custody. You did not have to murder. You did not have to murder that man.
So hang on, we're heroes now. We're running around. Someone gave you the business and kill you, and I catch up to him because he can't outrun me. And he says, "Okay, I've surrendered now. Here I am. Take me to jail." And I should just be like, "Okay, that's fine because you've surrendered."
If somebody killed me and you got hold of them, I wouldn't want you to kill them because I wouldn't want you to lose a part of your soul for me.
No, you must be mad. I'm telling you from now, if someone kill me, you best go and kill them. Kill all of them. If you don't, Manny P, I'm going to haunt you literally forever. I'm going to be standing there at night over your bed like.
Oh, I've got some bad news for you, David. Unfortunately, because what's the point? Because what's the point? Like, you've now lost a part of your soul. You've killed this person. You were wearing that Captain America uniform, and you've done that in the public, and that's going to be broadcast through social media across the entire world, and they're only going to see. Remember, it's not about what you think; it's about what the public's going to perceive. Because all they're going to see is the footage.
You know why I'm not worried about that? Because it's America.
Not about you, David. It's about the public.
No, but it's America. America's going to find a way to spin that.
That was going to be my next question. So
yeah, of course they're going to find a way to spin that. So he's not worried about that. You could do whatever.
So let me finish my 2 points, and then I'll let you come in. So that's going to be shared around the entire world. So it's going to split the world. Basically, you're going to have people who see an unarmed man being murdered by Captain America in a fit of rage. And then you're going to have, I imagine, like networks, like I imagine Fox News in America, and maybe like the Daily Mail, like
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson, all these kinds of people protecting.
Morgan.
Yeah, all these types of people are probably going to start protecting Captain America, saying, "Well, he was a terrorist, and what he
killed that innocent man, that innocent father who was working." So,
again, there is nuance to this argument. But again, this is all stuff. Again, everybody's going too far and nobody's winning at the moment. Everyone's losing. And again, this is something which I don't think Steve Rogers would have done. I think Steve Rogers, with all of his heart, would have wanted to kill somebody who killed Sam or Bucky, but he would have stopped himself right at the end.
We don't know. It depends. What about if they killed his woman?
But this is why Steve Rogers was able to pick up Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. Because he was worthy, because he doesn't do stuff like that.
So what, you think Thor's never killed anyone?
In the comics, he very rarely kills anybody.
Oh, wow, Manny P. You hear what you just said? He very rarely kills anybody.
Okay, the one time he does, and again, my knowledge is from the 80s and 90s.
Thank you, Penny.
Both missing the point. John Walker as Captain America now represents the real America now. I feel the entire storyline is a reflection of the racism struggle happening in America right now. Well, that's my point in actuality. Is that we're going to see these two different Americas now being presented through the media of the world. You're going to have people who are outraged by what Captain America's done. And you're going to have Americans like Tucker Carlson and whatnot sticking up for this act that John Walker's done. And just in regards to Thor, the one time Thor does kill somebody in the Marvel comics is when the Marauders are committing an act of genocide against the Morlocks, which I can get into at a later date. But he's so outraged by actually seeing genocide taking place, an act of mass murder amongst the mutant population. But yeah.
But he still did that. But that's what I'm saying. So you can't, just because that is the trigger for him to actually kill, doesn't mean that everyone doesn't have their own trigger. I think Walker's trigger is acceptable. It's the fact that it's his best friend who literally wasn't doing anything wrong. They were, in their mind, they were trying to stop terrorists. And the terrorists tried to kill him, his best friend, who's just a regular guy who just followed the rules, who's there to protect the people, literally gave his life for him, trying to stop the bad guys. So if that means you have to kill one of the bad guys, then so be. I approve that. I approve that message.
Okay, Davie P, who works for Fox News, approves that murder when he could have easily been taken into custody, and even actually, because
hang on, why didn't Thor take those people who was committing genocide against the Morlocks to the proper authority? Why couldn't he be professional enough to keep his temper in check and take them into the proper authority, let them go to the right channel of the law, let the judicial system handle it? Why not?
Because he was in the middle of a fight with Blockbuster. When the mutant he kills.
Well, so wait, he's in the middle of a fight too. It just so happened that
he was running away. This is the argument.
Because he was getting beat up.
God, you should be on Fox. You should be on Fox News. Yeah, he's running away.
Listen, Fox,
you would be a perfect pundit. You and Alex Jones should hang out a bit more.
I'm actually unemployed, so if you want to hire me, come through. I'll be there covering the segment of was he right or wrong in the case of Mr. Walker versus the Flag Smashers.
The difference is that when Thor killed Blockbuster, they were in a fight, and it was whoever came out on top. He had his back to him. So you saying police are justified when they shoot people in the back? This is essentially the argument you're making.
No, this is not the police. This would be the other way around. If the police killed someone innocently and then someone chased them down,
he's a representative of the US government. This is the point.
So the US government doesn't kill.
You have to behave to a higher standard.
Oh, hang on. So you're saying that it's acceptable for the US government to kill, but only when it's not being shown on cameras, because that's what you're basically saying.
Okay, did I say that?
No, but the US government kills all the time, many people.
Did I say that?
No, when you say the world is watching.
Did I say that? Did I say that?
If the world isn't watching.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You can't straw man me here and make points against me.
Listen, Walker, if you need a lawyer, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe for you.
Okay, so
and I'll get that money to get your representative, because at the end of the day, I think he was right. He killed your best friend who was trying to stop, as many people put, these terrorists. I was the terrorist sympathizer, because I was sympathizing with the Flag Smashers. And now I think that you was actually justifiable in killing one who killed your friend, who was also trying to stop them from doing more damage, which was the only redeeming quality I think that you had just then, the fact that you avenged your best friend. It's not like you went out and you killed an innocent person. You went and killed one of their kids or something. You killed someone who's on the front line fighting as well. It just so happened that because he was getting his butt whooped, he started running because things went a bit extreme. You caught up to him. He wasn't running fast enough. You know what? Get better shoes next time. Run faster.
The facts are, he caught him. He could have taken him into custody. And as somebody who kind of worked in that field, you do take people into custody because you need to get the intelligence from them to do your job better later on down the line. What he done was an act of revenge. Now, him wearing that uniform, he needs to be working at a higher standard. He needs to be working at a higher threshold. He needs to be taking people into custody. Okay, he cannot be, because he murdered him purely out of his own rage, which has been accentuated by him taking the super soldier serum.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So why was Zemo trying to destroy the Avengers? Because they killed innocent people. That also included Captain America. He didn't exile Captain America. He didn't, excuse Captain America from the rest of them. He was also included too. Hence why Captain America and Bucky ended up fighting against Iron Man.
Oh, that's the argument done with anyway. Thank you, Penny.
Penny. Here's your Christmas card, Penny. There goes your vehement Christmas card from Davie P.
Well, she'll get one from me. It's fine. So essentially, now we're going to have this. I really hope that in episode 5 they have this kind of debate within episode 5 about some people like Davie P, who now works for Fox News, were kind of like sticking up for him, and people saying, actually, no, you've got to bring people into custody. You're working to a higher standard now. You're not the Punisher. You're Captain America.
Manny P, I'm slightly digressing, but do you think when we post this, we could tag Fox News in it?
I can tag Fox News, and if you really want a job with Fox News and sell your soul, we can get you that job with Fox News.
A job is a job, yeah. We coming out in my bow tie to represent.
And anyway, so we're moving on.
Yeah, that is very. Yeah,
that lasting image of Captain America with the blood on his shield. I mean, that was deep. That was deep. That is an image which is going to be shown around the entire world, and how the world reacts to that, I think, is going to be huge.
Yeah, so I think. Sorry, Manny. I think it also represents what people have never seen, probably, which is the shield is representing America, and the blood is actually the blood of all those that's been killed by America.
I'm just going to sit back a bit. Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I've been saying, this TV show is very much about legacy. Now, it's been about the legacy of Captain America and what that shield means. But we've seen that legacy is tainted. We've seen that actually there was a black Captain America.
Yes, so it's been tainted for a long time.
And he suffered horrible racism by the sounds of it. And now we've seen as well that this new Captain America has murdered somebody, essentially. So, yeah, I think what we're seeing is, yes, the real America in all of its glory, in Technicolor, basically.
Oh, gory.
I think Penny wants to be back on your Christmas card list.
Thank you, Penny.
But yeah, I think I think that's what it represents, that we're seeing the legacy of Captain America for exactly what it really is. Which I think is going to be what we've done, because in phases 1 to 3 of the MCU, we saw Captain America as this beacon of light and hope. And now we're seeing actually America as this more kind of like nuanced concept, which actually has a lot of failings.
Yeah, it's all been smoke and mirrors, where they pretended like, they're all like this big, they're all about honor and, doing things the right way. And, it's all about justice and peace and, the American way. But really and truly, what you really saw was the American way, which is you cross them, they will kill, they will do whatever if they feel that you've wronged them, and they'll find a way to justify. And I think that's exactly what will happen next. It may not be me, but it will be someone from Fox or whoever that will be there next week to actually justify what they've done, what he's done, which is going to bring up a real interest. It could take, but because it's probably only 2 episodes, they may not be able to do it, because then it could also bring in, Isaiah Bradley. Yeah, they could actually bring him in now, where he could actually talk about, well, if this Captain America did this and he doesn't go to jail, and I was a Captain America and I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't murder anyone, yet I spent 30 years in prison, I was tortured, I was, used as a lab rat, and my life completely ruined, and I didn't do anything, and this guy does that for the world to see. He's on social media everywhere, and there's no consequences to that action or whatever, then it will just highlight the big disparity that you have between different cultural treatment in society in America. Because would it be the same, if it gets swept under the carpet, would it be the same response if it was Sam as Captain America and he did that? Or would they look at him and
exactly. That's a really good point.
Would they compare him to say, well, Steve Rogers, the white Captain America, he fought all kinds of criminals and he didn't do this, and he fought superpowered beings. And then you got this Captain America, who's not even fighting a superpowered beam, and he did this to a mere human. So what does that say? So it could have a very, very dark split twist where it actually goes, split society, like he says, even more, because you're going to have those who find it. acceptable what he's done, that he's a soldier and he's just carrying out his mission. And then you're going to have those who's going to be comparing him to the real Captain America and say, well, Captain America didn't do that. He wouldn't have done that. He would have found another way. So it is a tricky one. But me personally, based on what happened and based on the relationship, what they had, and I think the significant damage what this will actually have with Battlestar no longer being in the picture to actually kind of steer him, because it looks like he was kind of swerving off his perceived straight and narrow, but now he doesn't have Battlestar to actually keep him
not
straight.
Not shoulder anymore, just keep him in check.
It's literally it can go one of two ways. He could go extremely dark, or he could feel so guilt-ridden that he'll second guess certain things that he will do, because it will almost be like he will be dishonoring his friend if he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll get on to, at the end, what we think is going to happen next. But I think, for me, what that shield, the image of that bloody shield, I think is a perfect representation of America. So on the top half of the shield, you've kind of like got this shiny, pristine image of the shield, which is, beautiful to look at, and it's perfectly crafted, and it's, perfectly colored. Then at the bottom, you've got the blood, and the blood is the thing they don't want you to ever see.
Yeah, but Manny P, you know what also I looked at it as? If you really look at it, he didn't kill him as a Captain America super soldier. He killed him as
John Walker.
John Walker, you killed my best friend. Yeah. That was a human kill. Think about it. He could have killed that guy with one blow from that shield, because he's strong enough. That shield is sharp enough. Remember when he threw it when he was fighting, when we first saw that he actually took the serum, when he threw the shield, it went straight in the wall and it was embedded in the concrete in the wall. So he could have actually thrown that shield once and took that guy's head off completely. That wasn't a super soldier attack. That was human rage, like real rage, literally, like I just lost my best friend and I'm going to make you suffer type of thing. So he wasn't acting like Captain America. He was acting like a person, like a real person, which is why I could actually relate to why he behaved that way, because he's just had a tremendous loss. So he's still in, he could, if this was the law, he could plead insanity, like literally, like, because at that particular moment, he had no control over.
Well, I think as well, it's the super soldier serum accentuating all those emotions as well.
Yeah, true. But I'm just saying, even on a normal person, when you've actually blacked out for that particular second or that moment in time, you've got no control over your actions. You're not really conscious of what you're doing. It's kind of like he's probably having an out-of-body experience, because he's in rage, he's heartbroken, and he's in shock at the same time. So it's all those things that's taken over. And I actually felt bad for him, because it's a tough loss. It wasn't like they got defeated. He got killed right in front of him, and it was preventable. I think that's the issue that he's going to have hard to deal with, because he could have taken that punch. Again, like I said, had he told his best friend, because if you tell me you're a superhero and I see bullets coming after you, hey, I'm not going to be there jumping in front of no bullet. Like, oh, Manny P, I'll save you. Shoot, I'm going to use you as a shield. Like, yeah, Manny P, I'll save you. Stand in front of me. I'm saving you. I'm saving you. Because you can take it. He can't.
Yeah, I think absolutely. And I think, as I said before, it was a human response from John Walker, but he's got to act to a higher. He's got to behave better when he's wearing that uniform and he's casting that shield.
Yeah, but what you're saying, Manny P, contradicts what what's his name?
Erskine.
Yeah, said. He said it's better to be the perfect man, a good man, over the perfect soldier. In that moment, you wanted him to be the perfect soldier, which was to have composure and a clear sense of duty. He was acting like a man, not a soldier.
Not a good man. Not a good man. He wasn't contradicting.
But he wasn't a bad man. He wasn't acting like a bad man. He wasn't acting like
a good man either. A good man doesn't chop someone's head off with a shield.
If he had a gun, I guarantee if he had a gun, he would have got that out and he would have been pow.
That's actually a good point. He did have a gun in the first episode. I don't know where the guns disappeared to.
Yeah, because now remember, since he's no longer needs it because he's now got that, he probably left that, which he probably would like regret. But if he had a gun, he would have been shooting up like he's Doc Holliday, but he didn't. So he just used what he had, which was the shield, because he probably felt so powerful enough, which is an interesting thing now. He probably felt so powerful now and so confident in his ability that he could fight already. And now he's got the serum in him. He's now literally like Superman. So he felt that he didn't need something like a gun because now he's beyond that. Now he's Captain America. And the real Captain America, Steve Rogers, didn't need a gun. So I don't need a gun. Now I'm that powerful. And it actually cost him his friend.
Yeah, 100%. But so end episode 4 and John Walker's ruined the legacy of Captain America.
I don't think so.
Even more. Well, again, he's not the Punisher. He's Captain America, and you've got to behave to a higher standard. But what do you think's going to come up in episode 5? Where do you think the show's heading towards now?
It's very tricky because it would be real interesting but they can't, if they spend like the next episode on John Walker, like giving you his backstory to date, because then that would also show you.
Remember, they've only got 2 episodes left, so they can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that they wouldn't be able to because of the time frame. But I'm saying it would have been interesting if they were able to do that, so you could see his backstory, which is from his upbringing to where he is now. His journey to where he got to now, whatever. Because I genuinely think he believes that he was actually doing something right. And there's no better feeling. It's like, even like with this, like when we started saying we're going to do these podcasts and everything else, we all said like, when we did our introduction, we talked about our history. We're childhood friends. We've been friends since we're like 11 years old. Now we're a little bit over 11, but you get the drift. It's been a long road. And
yeah,
I think that's what made it even more enjoyable, because we have that, we have a history, it's built like that. And I think it's the same thing with Walker. I think everything that he was actually doing, he did it with the blessing of his best friend, because they've been friends from the get-go. They literally, their lives are the same, like, they did everything together type of thing. Probably looking at them, it seems like they went to the same school, the same college. They literally did everything together, because remember his girlfriend in that episode when we saw him talking to her, I don't know if it's his wife or if it's
I think it's his wife.
Yeah, probably his wife, because if he's a good old soldier, then he would have married her. So it's his wife, who was his high school sweetheart. Literally, they said, she's like, just like how you was in football. So it shows that they've literally been on the same path, the same journey from back in the day. So probably like in football at school, he was like the quarterback. And, Battlestar was also on the football team too, because, you're not going to see one without the other. So everything they did together. So you imagine you have that history together, and then you literally see your friend die in front of you. And he didn't die in a fair way. He literally died thinking he was protecting you. So he literally gave his life because you meant that much to him. And he died. And you literally expect that person in that moment to be the better man and said, you know what? Despite what you've done, you're a terrorist and you've now killed my best friend, who was also fighting for the good of the people and trying to protect the world from your actions. I will be the better person, and I will actually take you into custody and let the judicial system charge you. No, he was reacting like how a normal person would do.
Exactly, a normal person, but he's got to be beyond a normal person. He's got to be Captain America now.
Yeah, but he's only been Captain America a few weeks, probably not even.
Then he shouldn't have the job, which has been proven throughout this entire series.
He didn't ask for it. I think they gave him it.
Then he should have said. Then he should have said no. There's no excuses anymore. There's no excuses anymore. But anyway, what do you think?
He's a good soldier, so he's not going to say no. Uncle Sam came knocking, and of course he's going to yes, you're the perfect man for it or whatever. And knowing him, he would have probably felt guilty if someone else took over the mantle of Captain America and something happened to them, because he looks like he's got that God complex where he believes like, I can do it. No one else can. Is up to this task.
Regardless of all of that, though, he is not proven to be a Captain America. by any
Well, he killed
standard.
just like Captain America. Captain America's killed people too. They just don't want to come out yet. You know, those skeletons ain't coming out because he's been covered up.
Okay, David's just making stuff up now to back up his point. But episode 5, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen in episode 5?
I think it's going to be a little bit of damage control and media spin on that whole thing. I think we're going to see more with Sam's sister and Sam and the whole thing. I think that's going to be a very interesting dynamic because I think Sam's sister, even though at the moment she's on the fence with them, with the flag smasher, I think when she starts to probably speak to them more and seeing how she's been treated and how Sam is being treated, despite all his heroics, he literally just saved the universe. He was one of the ones that just saved the universe. And literally, dude can't get a loan from the bank to keep his daddy's legacy going.
Legacy again, you say? Legacy keeps on playing a role here.
Yeah, they want you to take selfies and do all of that. And it's just the same thing over and over again. I think it's going to make her even more gravitate to them once probably Sam opens up to her and tell her about Isaiah Bradley, that there was actually a black Captain America. And she's like, how we've never heard of this. And when she hears his story, that not only was he a great hero, but he was also imprisoned and he was literally treated just like, so even when you are a super soldier and a black man, you still get treated just like how they treat any other minority. If you look at it that way, they'll look at it just like that. Because where does he end up? He's ended up where he's literally living in a crime-ridden area, in a crappy house, probably never had a decent job. And this guy's done nothing but been a patriot, a hero, and that was his reward. So I think she's going to start looking at it too, probably like that, if it goes down that way, where she's going to look at it like, well, these flag smashers might actually be the way going forward, because if this guy did everything and more for country and for glory and for everything else, and literally all he got was his life ruined, you're doing the same thing. You've saved the universe, you've done all of this, and you can't even get a loan to save our business, to save our family home and our legacy. Then maybe we're doing things, maybe we're not the good guys, maybe we're all just all deluded. Maybe we should start being that way as well.
Maybe. So this is where I think the series is going to go now. I think we're going to see the destruction of John Walker, the self-destruction of John Walker. I think he's just going to go on a tearaway now, and he's just going to kill anything that stands in his way. And Zemo is going to love this, because actually John Walker, I think, is going to be doing exactly what Zemo wants someone to do, and that is to take out people who have taken the super soldier serum. I think Zemo is in a great place now. I think all the pawns for Zemo are kind of falling into place. I think Zemo's going to be very happy because he's always wanted to see Captain America like be tarnished. Like even in the Avengers movie in Civil War, he didn't want to kill the Avengers. He just wanted to destroy that kind of concept.
Yeah, he wanted them to implode, wanted them to destroy each other from inside.
Yeah. And now he's seen that with Captain America, where Captain America is going to be tarnished by his actions. And yeah, I think Zemo's going to be absolutely loving this, seeing this mad Captain America running around who's almost like on a roid rage through the super soldier serum. And I think next season we're going to see Zemo, in the next episode, so we're going to see Zemo really just up there, just kind of looking over things, saying, yeah, things are going my way. But one thing I do hope they go back to is Isaiah Bradley. I really want Isaiah Bradley to be in one of the next 2 episodes. I will feel a bit cheated if we don't see Isaiah Bradley again.
Well, you know what I also think, Manny P, and it may be a bit, maybe not happen, but I think John Walker is going to really start to show his personality. Like you said, I think he's going to snap. And I think also when he snaps, I think he's going to be so disgusted that as Captain America, he wasn't able to do what he's supposed to do. He failed. I think he may actually have a change of suit. I think it may get darker. So it will still have the stars and stripe on it, but it will be more like a darker, like a more sinister You know, it's kind of like I wouldn't even be surprised if it's similar to um like Daredevil's costume. I know that's more like red and mauve, like, but you know, it will just be
Yeah.
dark. I think it's gonna go with him because I know on as the US agent, it's black. His suit is black, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I was,
So
I was, I
I think
was, I was about to share a picture of US Agent, but it just all got a bit complicated on StreamYard. But yeah, US Agent has got a black uniform,
yeah, so I think
or
he's
at
gonna
least a very
change his
dark blue
uniform.
uniform.
Yeah, a dark. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a dark blue. So I think he's trying to like step out of that shadow now to say, okay, your Captain America didn't kill and do whatever, but I'm the one who's gonna do what Captain America didn't do to get the job done. So I think that's where he will slightly be a bit different. So he's gonna come out. But I do honestly feel for him in that episode because it's I know you don't too much, but I feel for him
No, I
based
do
on
have
the fact.
sympathy. I do have sympathy for him because he's in a situation which he's not capable of handling.
And you're saying Captain America would, would demonstrate self-restraint.
Yeah,
I
because
doubt that
that's why he
because
was allowed to pick up Moynier.
remember in Civil War, he almost killed Tony Stark, and Bucky wasn't even dead.
But he stopped himself again. Remember?
Yeah, but Bucky wasn't even dead. So what do you think would have happened if Bucky was dead? You think he would have not gone extreme? The only way that he would not have gone extreme is if, and I think that's the only reason why, which is quite important. Remember, in that last bit, Tony Stark's face was visible, so you could actually see the person behind the
Yeah,
mask,
that's
which
the
I think is
difference.
why,
He was
which is
beating
why
away. He was beating away at the armor. Then when he saw the face, it changed.
it changed at the last minute. If Bucky was dead, I think he would have just lost himself in that rage and just take him out to pasture.
Oh, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, we'll never know. But I think the fact that he was allowed to pick up Moynier suggests that he wouldn't have killed Tony Stark.
I'm just saying, you're saying that he wouldn't. And don't be surprised, like you see with all these politicians, all these Me Too, these people, victims coming out like, yeah, he did this to me, he did that. Don't be surprised to see people start coming out and saying, yeah,
Okay, that's
Captain America did this to me. He killed my uncle, he killed my granddad, he did this or whatever.
okay. That's not going to happen. But we'll
Well, you heard it here first.
yeah,
David
I can't see that. I can't see that story being written somehow. But hey,
Yeah, they don't want to tarnish him.
whatever backs a
Poor
big point.
Walker. Poor Walker's gonna get the brown end of the stuff.
Hey,
Literally.
Elevate, he left a comment in a while, so I'm glad you're still here. It reminded me really of Daredevil, the TV one. Like if there was more blood, it would be straight out of Daredevil. That's a
Yeah.
good point. The actual scene itself, that was a bit gruesome for Disney, wasn't it?
That's what I'm saying. It was dark where I could see
Yeah.
his costume changing because he literally like he went dark where he's no longer. And I think he's gonna go. I think anytime, even going forward, I think anytime he's in a position where if he feels threatened, he's gonna like it's gonna enhance his PTSD where he's gonna think, oh my God, this could happen again. And he might start seeing certain people like if someone is being attacked, he's gonna look at them and thinking, oh, that's his best friend. That's, Battlestar. So he's going to be extreme when he's actually fighting against whoever, and he'll probably do a lot more killing.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably tend to agree with that, in all fairness.
I think you should change the armor, change it to the darkness, match what you're feeling inside, Walker.
Do you think maybe as well, though, because he has been shown around the world to kill that guy with the shield, they might say to him, look, you can't be Captain America anymore, but you can be this new guy called the US Agent.
Maybe, or maybe he will say that.
Maybe he feels as though he can't be Captain America, so he gives himself a new superhero persona.
Right. And I think the fact that he will say, listen, I'm willing to do what Captain America weren't willing to do, because I think now he'll probably be more patriotic than ever in the sense that he'll feel like, listen, whatever you need me to do to stop bad guys from killing more innocent people and more innocent, soldiers like Battlestar, I'm willing to do it. So by all means, I'll do the things that Captain America won't do. So let me not be Captain America. Let me be who I am. I'm the US agent.
Totally. I think that could definitely happen. But yeah, we've done an hour 45. It's gone by very quickly.
Yes.
We've learned a few things today. We've learned
Yeah, a lot. You shocked me, Manny P. So if I get murdered tomorrow, I won't expect you to come and avenge me.
no, but I will look after your family. That's the important thing.
Well, I'm still gonna be. Well, like, that ain't bringing me back. So I'm gonna be in your room every day. My ghost is just gonna be in there, like. That's all
I know. Before we go off it, I'll quickly explain why. Because I don't want to go too deep into what I do, but like, I do like deal with youth violence, and
Manny Pizzle.
and I tell my colleagues tell young people constantly that if one of their friends die, you do not go and seek revenge because it just carries on that cycle of pain. And I just see the same thing in what John Walker done to that flag smasher again, because now Carly's going to want to kill John Walker now, and the cycle of pain just continues and continues. Someone's got to be brave enough to say, I'm going to put my hurt aside and I'm going to break this cycle of violence, and I'm going to find a way for all of us to move on an equal footing. Because at the moment, everybody's just hurting everybody. And
that's true. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, let me also put that out there too. I'm not this advocate for violence. I also
from the last hour, I don't know.
I'm also a leader in a marching band here in Jamaica. So I do work with a lot of youth, and our message is to also be positive. I work with law enforcement to also help motivate and tutor these young folks to stay on the right path and do the right things and do things like that. But just in a hypothetical situation like this, speaking on the show, I'm just saying he was justifiable in his action right there. In reality, if something happens, of course, you go the right way through the law, and justice should prevail. That's the reality. But just speaking on what happened to Walker, we're talking about Walker with a history of PTSD, losing other, brothers in arms in the army to terrorists, in wars, against equally in their mind villainous people. They may not have had superpowers or super soldier serum, and the fact that that now happens even when he's on his own soil, it's bad enough it's happening when you're going to fight a war in somewhere else, but on your own soil, it's happened, with domestic terrorists, because that's what they're looking at those guys as. Then I understand him snapping because he's not had the help and the treatment that he needed to actually help him recover. So you can't expect him to behave like Captain America, because Captain America weren't suffering from what we all seem to think is PTSD. So he was already suffering, and then he go and have this other trauma happen right in front of him. Any self-restraint that he would have had, even if that was Captain America, he would have snapped.
Well, this is the difference.
Remember, Manny P, sorry to cut before you.
But this is the difference. We've got to judge him in two different ways. We've got to judge him in one way as John Walker, and in one way as Captain America.
Yeah, but remember when Captain America got defrosted, that's the best way to put it. In Captain America,
they took him out of the freezer like a bird's eye chicken.
Remember when he actually came through and he woke up from his coma and whatnot. They had him to preserve his mind and not freak him out for him to snap. They recreated, literally like a prop room.
Yeah, 1940s.
Everything from 1940s with the music, with everything, because they didn't want him to possibly snap. So, and he probably did. We may not have seen it, but I'm pretty sure that he had some kind of therapy session to help him readjust to what was actually going on around him. He got that, but did they actually give that to Walker? I mean, we can clearly see that dude is suffering. And again, this is a failure on his government, his superiors' side, because they did not give him the help that he possibly needed, which is what helped push him into this course of action.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I probably agree with that. You see it in real life. People who do serve probably don't get the help they need in terms of PTSD. But yeah, I think what this just demonstrates, though, is that he's not a suitable candidate to be Captain America.
Maybe so, but then look at it this way too, Manny P. Do you think
that's not his fault? To be fair,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But if he had gotten the treatment, as we can clearly see that he's suffering from PTSD, if he had gotten the treatment and he had actually, obviously been rehabilitated, through his therapy, and considering he's got all the attributes as they require for him to be the perfect soldier, then do you think he would have been a different individual, or do you think regardless of whatever treatment he got, this is him deep down?
I think all of his experiences have made him who he is today. So we've got if we journey map his experiences, we've got to pick the moments when the authorities or the government could have intervened, and they should have intervened probably when he came back from Afghanistan a lot better. Now, part of that therapy may have been actually, we're helping you to cope with your issues.
Yeah.
But maybe as well, we're going to we're going to discharge you from the army as well for your own good.
For a while, yeah, just to, like literally like a sabbatical.
Yeah.
You take a year out or whatever, just to, readjust with society, with normal people, get back used to things, and then after a year we'll come back, we'll reassess, and if everything seems to match, then we'll, you can go back on, we'll clear you for duty and you can go back in. Because if that's which again I find, it means that there must have been cases of things happening with PTSD sufferers in the army for them to have someone like Sam doing that. So if that's the case, then why would they have not offered that kind of treatment to him? And not where they offer it, it should be something where it's mandatory, where if you've done a duty or you've done a tour, once you come back, it's a mandatory like 60-day therapy and desk duties where you're not back on the battlefield, and then we'll reassess or whatever. So unless he's had that, and he's so well, he's such a great actor that he didn't demonstrate any kind of signs to show that he's suffering from anything, then it's not his fault. That goes straight to the superior, those in charge, who didn't actually do what he's doing. I mean, look at us. When we do these podcasts, when we usually finish, like we did last week, when we get off the podcast, we actually have a little chat on the phone and we just say, discuss things.
Which I was going to say to you, actually, when we do get off this, don't press leave studio, just stay in here.
Yeah.
I'll just end the podcast and we'll both be talking to each other still. So we don't need to phone each other. But no, you're right. I think it'll be. I don't think they'll explore that in this in the next 2 episodes. I hope they do, but I don't think they will. But yeah, like, was he offered therapy? Did he say he didn't need it? Maybe his own kind of masculinity said, "Well, I'm a dude. I don't need therapy." We just don't know. But anyway, we've done an hour and 53 now. Don't leave broadcast, and I am going to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Goodbye. Thanks, Penny. Thanks, Elevator Not Worthy. We'll see you all next week.
Take it easy, guys.
Yes.
We'll see you next week. 2 seconds.